In my previous video, I was talking about how I was watching this woman talk. She's deconstructed, and she was talking about some of the things that she experienced in the church. And one of the things she was talking about is how she was originally a Jehovah's Witness, and then she came into Christianity. She says they're both Christianity, they're the same. Obviously, like, Christians would disagree with that. But she was talking about how the same culture, the same, how does she say it? The same patterns and social conditioning that was in Jehovah's Witnesses was the very same thing that she found in the Christian church. And I could not agree more with this woman than that. The thing that I have seen over and over going on in the church is how little different we actually are with so much of the religion out in the world. We believe the truth. We got the true faith. You know, we're not believing in these errors, and we endlessly talk about those differences. But our believing is not producing anything cleaner, brighter, healthier than those things. Now, of course, you have like extremes where there's so many people who have come out of like Mormonism, and they're like, oh yeah, now I'm in the truth, I'm in Christ, and that was wrong. That's true. But there is this issue where we aren't really being any better than the Mormons, than the Jehovah's Witnesses, than those who believe in Islam, you know, and we can fall into the very same religious errors, and there's very little acknowledgement of this. Where, for example, you know, you have ultra-Orthodox Jews, and so many Christians never rise higher than the Orthodox Jew. Yes, they believe the truth, but in their lives, what does their believing actually produce? Are they rising up into a righteousness that's greater than their righteousness? No, they have the very same conservatism, hyper-traditionalism, these sorts of things, even the same fanaticism, and they live no differently. Yes, they have a different belief and a different culture, but in the spirit and their attitudes, their strength is no greater than the ultra-Orthodox. And the same over here, you know, you got the Mormons, you know, driving around in their minivans and living out their conservative lifestyle and their, you know, their traditional family values. And what do you have amongst Christians that's greater than that? What righteousness do we have that exceeds the righteousness of the Pharisees? You know, what religion in us is better and greater than their religion? Besides just, oh, I believe what's right, I believe the truth. What is that actually producing in us? And this is something that she puts her finger on. She kind of just, you know, said it and then moved on. But this is so true. This is so huge. It's so real of what's going on is that our Christianity is not better. Not that Jesus isn't better, not that the true gospel and the ways of Christ are not better. Those are. But we have this really great fallacy in our midst where we believe that because Christianity is true, somehow we're just true. We're just on this you know, this automatic track to being in that same outcome as Christ. And that's not true. That is not true. It's proven to not be true. And so when we face that, and we're forced to face that, we can either believe that Jesus isn't true, or our assumptions about what it means to be a Christian have been wrong, and we have to understand God anew, understand him rightly, and let him reveal those errors, because the fruit of our lives isn't any better. Maybe, you know, we're not like going out and blowing people up with bombs like in some extreme religious view, or, you know, living in a cult of, you know, having 20 wives or whatever. Sure, okay, we're not having this extreme, but neither is all of these people of unbelievers. And I think that is one of the things we really have to face is, you know, where even when we become Christians, so many people are made worse, not better. They're made worse. Why is that happening? It's not worthwhile to just gaslight and lie and say, oh, that's not happening. It is happening. So why is that happening? What is going wrong in our understanding of God, our beliefs about God, that is making us worse? And at the same time, realize, you know, this is something that God really showed me my error in like 10 years ago of like seeing how all the good I was doing was no better than the unbelievers' good. Really. I was being, doing purely the good that was right in my own eyes, even as a Christian, and how that was honestly not any better than what they were doing. And I think that's the problem with Christians, is that we don't really believe that we have this standard of actually living a righteous life before God, and that our righteousness should be better than the righteousness of the world. And if it's not, there's something hugely wrong, and we need to see that.